you need to be able to create a new GPT for yourself. So that's in the left menu down at the bottom where your name is for your account. You click on that and you choose My GPTs. And then you're going to do the Create a GPT option. It's going to walk you through the creation process. And so, again, remember, one of the great things about GPT is basically you just treat it like you're having a conversation. I would like a GPT just for calculating show fees for my stage hypnotism clients. It's going to work through that response, and it's going to ask you more questions to help you continue the setup process. Yes, that sounds good. Then it creates a profile picture so that you can tell, if you have 10 GPTs, having a little icon helps you tell them apart when you're going to access them. So, a little calculator with a swirl. How cute is that? Love it. Let's refine the context. To ensure it calculates fees accurately, what specific factors should it always consider? All right, now I'm going to show you. I'm going to switch to when I made to save us all time, instead of working through this the long way, I'm going to use the formula that we had in the class before. And I will keep this formula in the class unit so that you can cut and paste it, copy and paste it into your GPT to make your life easier. Now, as this is catching up on this fee is what I came up with. You might decide you want to modify it, and you can do that. I went through the idea of a calculated fee would have a base rate, the minimum amount you always want to make, plus the duration multiplier. How long is the show? If you're doing an hour show versus a 2-hour show, you may not care about that and you take it out. Audience size. I think the more value you're bringing according to audience size, the more your price should go up. So I include that, but you may not want to. Travel type. How far are you having to travel? Because that's a cost. So you need a multiplier for that, I think. Days away. More days away is more days of hotel, more days of putting your pet in boarding, stuff like that. So I have a days away multiplier and then a customization multiplier. If you ask me to do special things for your event that take more of my time, if I need to basically customize the show, then I charge more. So that's how I made that. You could think of other things you want to include, and you just ask it to. You say, can we also add a blah, blah, blah multiplier? And it'll go, sure. So now it's saying, now, how should fee calculator clarify details if the provided information is incomplete? For example, should it ask follow-up questions? Yes. Please ask follow-up questions to get the best possible information. It's going to update that idea. In what tone should the fee calculator communicate? For example, should it be strictly professional, friendly, or something else? Please make it professional and friendly. We can be both, right? It's going to update that. So what it's doing when it's gathering this information for you is it has parameters in its deep programming level for how to communicate in these ways and how to build content with these tones of writing and stuff. How would you like the calculator to personalize its interactions? Should it use specific greetings or sign-offs, or have a unique way of presenting information? That's an interesting... How would you like to personalize its interactions? Should it use specific greetings? Gosh, it didn't do this before. See, this is part of the challenge, is they keep changing and updating ChatGPT itself. And when I created my first Shofi calculator, it didn't have any of this. So I'm a little bit on the spot here. What would the value of that be? It could make it seem more human-like and more friendly, kind of, I guess. Let's say for now, no special needs for that at this time. So again, remember what this is doing, it's going beyond the usual Chat GPT, and it's almost like building you a little channel where you can, or a tool where you can access this, and it's dedicated to just be this thing that you want it to be all the time. Shofi calculator is all set up and ready to use in the playground to your right. Feel free to test it out and see how it performs. All right, let's do that. So, let's see. I need to calculate a show fee, please. Let's run it through. All right, so the way it presented it is it wants kind of like all the information at once. Let's see what happens. The show will be for 90 minutes. Now, will it follow up and ask the next one? Yep. So it's going to keep doing all of them. Okay, I'll keep. So this is part of like the user interface. I wish it would sort of just ask one question at a time and work you through it, but audience size will be approximately 100 people. Travel distance. Now, here's an interesting thing. What if the travel distance, you'd have to actually calculate it out. I wonder, it might, some of you, as you do this, think about, you might say, well, I'd rather just think about, do I have to drive or fly? And you go, or you might think, well, no, I want to figure out the cost no matter what. Am I driving 1 hour? Am I driving 5 hours? Am I flying a short flight, a long flight? Will involve flying. That's interesting. Let's say from Tucson, from Arizona to New Jersey. Now I see I didn't actually give it a distance. I wonder how it did there. Well, this is why it's good to test out. Days away. I will need to stay overnight for 1 night. All right, let's see. Last thing is no special customizations. Typically, a base rate is charged for the first hour with an additional fee for each subsequent hour. Oh, now it's breaking it all down. Okay, so we'll see how it's working. Now, this is where when you first set up the GPT, you're going to want to really adjust it, right? You're going to want to make sure it's really in the range that you want to be quoting prices at. So this is where you say, all right, so show duration, typically a base rate is charged for the first hour with an additional fee for each subsequent half hour. That's not really how I think of my show, but if it helps me get to a consistent rate that way, I'd be okay with leaving it. I tend to think of base rate as just every time I do a show, I want to make no less than, X. Audience size, fees can increase. Fees can increase based on audience size. Okay, so it's using an idea. I like this idea. It's like the equivalent of you saying, I believe I bring value of about $5 per person. So then you can just do the math on, right? And you could say more than that or less than that. Again, you could tell it. You could literally say, no, I think it should be $7 per person or $10 per person, or, but this is a starting point. So travel for a cross-country flight. Okay, it worked out. It was a cross-country flight, 500 to 1,000, and it did that. 1 day away is 150 to 300. That's true. That's accurate. No special customization. So based on those factors, it's saying the estimated fee should be $1,900 to $2,550. Now, this, again, you can go through and you can tweak any of this however you want. So like I might just say, I always want the base fee to be, the base rate is for the first hour. I could change that. Like I know my show is really always about an hour and 20 minutes. So I could just say, like, I just want I could take the base rate and make it for that and say, look, the standard is I do an hour and 20 and I want the base rate for that to be $750 and just do that all the time. Like you can work these. Again, don't think that there's tremendous flexibility here is what I'm trying to say. You also I had an earlier version where there was a sixth factor here. And it was how much experience you have as the hypnotist. So what you could do is say, if you were doing, if the request from the client was for something that you had a lot of experience doing and you were really good at it, you could charge more because you knew you were bringing more value. But if they were asking you to do something that maybe you don't normally do, then you go, well, I don't know if I could bring the level of value I'm used to. Maybe I knock the price down a little bit. That'd be another thing you could consider, right? So let's say, for example, let's say that you want to use this fee calculator and actually what the person's asking for is not a hypnosis show, but they want you to come in and do like a keynote. And you're like, well, I don't really do keynotes, but I know I could. But you're thinking, so it's the same issues, right? I gotta travel there. I gotta do an hour keynote. I gotta have an audience size, all these same factors. And then you're like, but what I'm really, really good at is stage hypnotism, not keynoting. So you could add that extra thing of adjusting it. There's different things like that you can do. But all right, so this is close enough that what I'm going to do, because I think, again, for this reflects, I think, an accurate market rate, $1,900 to $2,550 for what I plugged in here. If I was really doing a show, I would book out for a show of only 100 people at probably around $2,250 would be probably what I would charge, right? So I know, I'm like, okay, this thing's in the ballpark. So I'm going to save it up here in the right. I have to give it, no, it has a name. It's the fee calculator. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it, when this new thing with GPTs, you can keep them private. You can do anyone with a link, or you can, the whole public can share their custom GPTs they're making now. Oh, I got to name it. That's what why won't it? Well, it won't. You got to name it. Stage, show, fee, calculator. Now we can save it. Anyone with a link, confirm. And that way now I can provide you all with the link, and you can start with using this one and then tweak it once it's in your GPT, tweak your saved version of it in your GPT for whatever you'd like. This is great. Whoops, not great. Great. Can I adjust the calculator in the future if I want to? Absolutely. I thought I knew the answer to that, but I just wanted to see. So you can go in and keep tweaking this and adding to it. All you have to do is tell it what you need it to do. And you can change it and keep evolving it to get it closer and closer to the exact kind of calculations you want it to make for you in the future. And just keep working it and working it. And that way, when you get a call from someone, you can be on the phone and pull up your GPT, and really fast you can come out with a consistent, accurate calculation of a show quote. So hope this helps you. Hope this works for you and does good things for you. Okay? Hope it helps. Enjoy. Have fun.